Hi, this is Emily Leiphart of Art from the Heart, and in this video I'm sharing a paper Smooches card using the coffee and tea dies. On the left I have the Snowman dies, which I'll also use on my card, but let's have a close-up look at the coffee and tea dies. There's a big mug and a little tea bag, plus a bean which could also be used as a slice of lemon for a get well card. Then there's a little teapot with two smaller mugs which would look so cute grouped together. I'm starting with a horizontal A2 sized card that opens from the bottom. My scene will involve a hill at the bottom with two snowmen standing at the apex. I'll be die cutting a hill into the card base using the stitched dies. Next I'm going to die cut all the pieces for the snowmen. I cut two bodies, and after placing them on the card I realized that they blend in too much with the background. I'm going to use the Quotables dies to create a mask from masking paper so I can sponge in the dawn of light rising from the horizon, just like in the logo for Universal Studios. I've cut the little mugs from Audrey Blue cardstock, so I'm using the coordinating ink from Simon Says Stamp and a mini blending tool to sponge color from the mask upwards. I'm not the best sponger, so I try to keep it as light as possible. In fact, I usually go for the messy look, since most of the time I end up with huge blobs of ink. Anyway, I'm quite happy with the way this turned out. Once in a blue moon, I'll get it right. After peeling away the mask, there's a nice glow of blue light and it provides enough of a contrast that the snowmen show up better. Now I'm going to die cut their faces. The arms come next. I'm just throwing the parts on the card and not worrying about placement just yet. It's enough to get a visual for spacing, and I'll be more meticulous when it comes to assembling the snowman later. Here's how the little mugs look in the snowman's hands. Super cute, aren't they? The handles are perfect for those tiny stick fingers. Next, I die cut their scarves. The hats are next. I'm going to use the decorative band that comes with the smaller hat on the top hat. Finally, I'm going to work on the face. I'm going to re-die cut the face from orange cardstock and inlay the noses. However, instead of inlaying all those tiny circles for the eyes and mouth, I'm just going to use a 3/4 inch circle punch and slip a piece of black cardstock between the two pieces of white die cuts. That way, the eyes and mouth look recessed and only the nose is flush with the top die cut. This adds a lot more dimension to the snowman, and there are much fewer pieces to adhere together. Using a zig glue pen and tweezers makes assembling these snowmen quick and easy. Not only are acrylic blocks necessary for stamping, they also come in handy for holding pieces in place and adding weight while glue is drying. Once the faces are complete, you can see them coming to life. Since the sticks are so fine, I'm going to use some score tape on the backs of the mugs and snowman bodies to give the arms and fingers something to stick to while I determine their placement. They'll still move around, but it's their attachment to the card base later with foam tape that will really hold everything in position. At this point, I still don't know which snowman will be on the left and which one will be on the right. I'll decide that later. The arms on the left side will be adhered at the front of the snowman. Next, I'm going to assemble and adhere the hats. With small straight surfaces, I will often use score tape since it's such a strong adhesive and I can trust it to stay in place. Now all the snowmen are assembled, and I'm going to place them on the card and gauge positioning. I do some fidgeting with the position of the mug on the left since it seems to interfere with the arm of the other snowman. I raise it up and decide it looks ridiculous, so I swap arms and mug style since I want the male snowman to remain on the left. Before I adhere the snowman to the card base, I'm going to stamp a sentiment from A Holy Holiday. I love the mix of fonts in this sentiment, and the length is perfect for the width and design of my card. I use both my grid mat and the lines on the acrylic block to make sure the sentiment is straight. It's like double the insurance for me. Then I ink it up with VersaFine Onyx Black pigment ink and stamp just under the horizon. I want to add steam rising from the mug, so I'm going to use the little double swirls from Fresh Snow. I'm going to use a pencil to mark the top edge of the mugs so I can move the snowman aside and heat emboss those swirls with silver embossing powder. I use my embossing bag to keep the card base as clear of stray specks as possible. Then I stamp the swirls right at the pencil lines and use my heat tool to set the powder. I apply some heat to the back side of the cardstock to flatten it out. Now I can add foam tape to the backs of the snowmen and mugs and attach them to the card base. I tried to keep an equal amount of space on the left and right sides. It's a little off, but that's okay. I had turned the camera off here and forgot to turn it back on when I decided to round off the bottom two corners. Since there are so many curves on the snowman and the hill, I thought the corners looked oddly sharp. I do like it a lot better with the rounded corners. Now my card is done. Please refer to the supply links below if you're interested in any of the products I used in this video. You can also visit my blog for stills and more information about my work. Thanks so much for watching.